Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Now we will continue with the introduction to skull part 2. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe now. Keep watching the videos. In our channel we have many playlists: gross anatomy, histology, embryology, osteology, neuroanatomy. New playlist called important anatomy in 50 videos. If you cover the 50 videos, you will be able to cover the 60 to 70% of the anatomy questions. So do subscribe now and keep watching the videos. Now we will continue with the introduction to skull part 2. The part 1, we have learned the number of the cranial bones which make the skull, and the bones making the neurocranium and the splanchocranium. And we have started with the types of the cranial bones, and now we will continue with the types of the cranial bones in this class. The types of the cranial bones: the bones which form the calvaria, that is, for example, frontal bone, they are all ossified in membrane and consist of outer and inner tables of compact bone and a middle layer of vascular tissue known as diplo. The inner table is more thinner than the outer table. In the calvaria, the periosteum covering the outer and inner surfaces of the bones will be called as outer surface. The periosteum covering this outer surface will be called as pericranium, that is the fifth layer of the scalp. And the periosteum covering the inner surface of the calvaria will be called as endocranium, which is the endosteal layer of the dura mater. The pericranium and endocranium are connected through the sutures. So this is the sutures. So this is the suture. The sutural membrane between the edges of two growing bones consists of osteogenic and fibrous layers of each bone and a middle connective tissue layer between them. Ossification in sutures starts from the age of 30 till 40. When the membrane will be replaced by bones, that is called synostosis. The closure of sutures takes place earlier on the inner surface and affects the outer surface about 10 years later. Three sutures are encountered in the skull cranial vault: the sagittal suture between the two parietal bones. So this is the two parietal bones, they are connected with the sagittal suture. Then coronal suture between the parietal and the frontal bone. So this is the frontal bone. So that suture is the coronal suture. And the lambdoid suture between the parietal and the occipital bone. So now we will see this is the occipital bone. So this is the lambdoid suture. So this is the parietal bone and this is the occipital bone, that is the lambdoid suture. So we have learnt the types of the sutures in between this bones in the cranial vault. Premature synostosis of the cranial sutures give rise to the cranial deformity called as craniostenosis, which depends on the particular sutures that becomes fused. If the sagittal suture closes early, so sagittal suture, I think again we will see the sagittal suture. So this is the sagittal suture which closes early, skull becomes long and narrow with a ridge along the closed sagittal suture. This condition is called scaphocephaly. Premature closure of the lambdoid and coronal sutures results in the sharp pointed head known as acrocephaly. So these are the deformities of the ossification of the sutures. The meeting point between these sutures we will learn. So this is the meeting point between the coronal and sagittal sutures is known as the bregma, and the meeting point between the occipital and the parietal bones, that is the meeting point between the sagittal and the lambdoid suture, that is the here the meeting point between the sagittal and the lambdoid sutures will be called as lambda. In the calvaria, the sutural closure occurs first in the bregma than the lambdoid. So that is about the details of the sutures. So that is about the details of the type of the cranial bone in the calvaria. So in the neurocranium, the calvaria and the base of the skull. Most of the bones of the base of the skull and also the facial skeleton bones or splanchocranium are irregular and ossified partly in membranes and partly in cartilage. In the bones around the nasal cavity, so around the nasal cavity, what are the bones? Example, yes, this is the frontal bone, this is the maxillary bone, sphenoid bone, ethmoid bone. So this is in the bones around the nasal cavity. The diploic tissue is replaced by the mucus-lined air-containing spaces known as the paranasal sinuses. So in all these bones, we have the paranasal sinuses. What are the functions of the paranasal sinuses? They act primarily as the air conditioning chambers and add humidity and temperature to the inspired air. Moreover, air in the tympanic cavity and mastoid antrum within the petrous part of temporal bone is brought from the nasopharynx through the auditory tube to maintain the equilibrium of the pressure between the both sides of the tympanic membrane. So thus completes the types of the cranial bones. Now we will see the anatomical position of skull. In anatomical position of the skull, the orbital cavities are directed in front. Yes, like this, directed in front. And the lower margin of the orbit, can you see the lower margin of the orbit? The lower margin of the orbits and upper margin of the external acoustic meatus should lie in the same horizontal plane. So upper, you can see the external acoustic meatus, the opening. So lower orbital margin and upper margin of external acoustic meatus should lie in the same horizontal plane. Such orbitomeatal plane was accepted as an international standard as an anthropological at an anthropological congress in Frankfurt in 1884. So this is called as Frankfurt's plane. If you draw a line joining the lower orbital margin to the upper margin of external acoustic meatus, it is called as Frankfurt's plane. So we have learnt in this class types of the cranial bone, anatomical position of the skull, and third is how to study the skull. The studying the skull can be done in two ways. One is viewing the skull in various planes. So viewing the skull in the front, it will be called as norma frontalis. Viewing the skull from the side will be called as norma lateralis. So this is norma lateralis. Viewing the skull from behind. So this viewing the skull from behind, this is called norma occipitalis. Viewing the skull from above will be called as, yes, this is norma verticalis. So this is the way to study, this is the one way to study the skull, that is to view the skull from different views, that is different normas. Norma frontalis, norma occipitalis, norma lateralis. Yes. So these are the norma verticalis. These are the various views. Other way is to study the individual cranial bones. So two ways we can learn. So for example, this is the temporal bone. We can isolate, separate and learn the temporal bone separately. So like this, we can study the skull in two different ways. So this completes the introduction to the skull. We will learn the normas in the continuing classes. So those who have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe now. Keep watching this gross anatomy, osteology, histology, embryology videos. Don't forget to press the like button and share button of the video. Thank you.